Wow.
Yep, we're live. 2 weeks off, but we're back. Happy New Day, America. We're back. Saturday night. Well, it's the new epoch of the gods tonight, and you don't have to see me. Through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow. The great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible life from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we are now will and commanded to be. Now, being and becoming an active force of higher consciousness and an active force of infinite intelligence within us all now being and becoming the great primordial dragon god son, Kundalini flames. Now, whirling and ascending from our spine, from our root chakra to our central heart chakra, all the way up to our royal crown chakra, igniting our royal crown chakra, illuminating our first eye, our Lord Amunel Dragra, our hidden priestly grandmaster Magi dragon god son, king and queen, igniting all the 72 chakras in our first eye our 72 primordial dragon god son kings and queens in all of our legions of 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 armies 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 of armies. Now, willing all the powers, all the forces, all the elements, all the essences, dark matter and dark energies and ethers, ruling the entire omniverse, earth, and physical and spiritual matrix and heavenlies, into being and becoming all of our will servants, serving all of our will's objectives, intentions, and desires, crystallizing them all into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and commanded to be. Now, being and becoming an active force, an active source of supernal light and energy that we're using now to unlock and activating all of our higher DNA back on, returning it all back online within us through the black dot within our first eye, universe B, the world of now, increasing the vibratory rate of our entire being up higher and higher and higher, changing every atom and subatomic particle of matter within our entire beingness back into a new primordial chaos to order being of higher manus, the master manifester of all reality and beingness, manifesting into our reality and beingness a new and greater mind connected to Atma, the Most High, while pulling in unlimited supernal energy pulling in unlimited supernal light and energy from right out of Atma and into our higher and lower manas and on down into our physical reality, manifesting it here as all of the substance that we need to take total control of our reality in this matrix through the knowledge of our true higher and lower inner self as we begin to learn how to magnetically reattaching all of our higher DNA back together again, empowered by the supernal light and energy of Atma, the Most High, controlled through higher manas to begin phasing in universe B, the world to come, while phasing out universe A, the world being and becoming destroyed by raising the vibratory rate up so high until it begins awakening and igniting all of the divine sparks in this matrix one by one, going supermental consciousness together, bypassing all of their humanity, completely destroying this illusionary matrix at once. Being and becoming pure supernal light and energy, vibrating higher and higher and higher, being and becoming more massive than the sun until we suck the entire sun and solar system into our supernal darkness and supernal light collapsing this entire space-time continuum into our supernal energy as it continues vibrating faster and faster and faster until it implodes and explodes, forming into universe be the world to come on a new earth expressed in its grandest grace and beauty, in a universe now built on the foundation and fabric of divine love, peace, justice, harmony, and balance, as all of the souls come together to celebrate the great feast and grand festival of the new epoch of the gods. Through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow, the great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible life, from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and command it to be. Abracadabra, ashe.
Presto Chango.
Mhm. Okay, crown chakra day libations. Ain, the nothingness, ashe. Ain,
Ashe.
Ain soft, the infinite, ashe. Ain
Ashe.
soft or the infinite light, ashe.
Ashe.
Atman, Atik Yaman, the ancient of ancient, the most ancient of days. Arik Atman, the big face, the primordial Christ, ashe.
Ashe.
The emanations, our supernal holy universe, manifesting in us as our holy divine names, the cosmic Christ, Ashe. The great
Ashe.
abyss of Gnosis, our crown of Zeramp in the small face, the indwelling Christ, Ashe.
Ashe.
Korea, form, creation, and paradise manifesting in us as our holy divine, infinite, magical, dark archangels and demons, Ashe. Yetzirah, formation manifesting in us as our holy divine, infinite magic, holy divine, infinite magical orders of the archangels and demons within us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashura, the actual physical world in the making, the universe of action, manifesting in us as our holy divine, infinite magical earthly kingdom. Ashe. Within us. Ashe. Yeshida, the holy divine, infinite magical divine spark, manifesting in us as our holy divine, infinite magical will. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ea, our holy divine infinite magical life force, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical desire, Ashe. Neshama, our holy divine infinite magical heavenly soul, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical heavenly thought, Ashe.
Ashe.
Ruach, our holy divine infinite magical soul, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical word spoken through us, Ashe.
Ashe.
Nephish, our holy divine infinite magical earthly soul manifesting into realization, actualization, and form as we are now willing commanded to be at. Ashe.
Ashe.
Kepler, the supernal crown. Ashe.
Ashe.
Hakma, wisdom, the supernal father. Ashe.
Ashe.
Bana, understanding and intelligence, the supernal mother. Ashe.
Ashe.
Da, the great abyss of gnosis. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ased, mercy. Ashe. Gavora, judgment. Ashe.
Ashe.
Tiferet, beauty. Ashe. Netzik, victory. Ashe.
Ashe.
Had, glory. Ashe.
Ashe.
Yesod, foundation. Ashe.
Ashe.
Malkut, the kingdom. Ashe. The
Ashe.
power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow. The primordial cosmic flower constantly blooming the absolute all into being. Ashe.
Ashe. Order out of chaos beings, Ashe.
Ashe.
Young God, Ashe.
Ashe.
Nagod, Ashe.
Ashe.
Cyrus, Destiny, Isis, Empress,
Ashe.
Tyler, Ashe.
Ashe.
The Elder God, Ashe.
Ashe.
The New God, Ashe.
Ashe.
Uh, Isis, Ashe.
Ashe.
Ma'at, Ashe.
Ashe.
The Cosmic Primordial Mother, Ashe.
Ashe.
All gods and unknown, known and unknown, Ashe. All
Ashe.
goddesses unknown, unknown, Ashe.
Ashe.
Yeah, man.
Mhm. Well, it's official. The downfall has begun.
he said, he said it'd be gone.
Well, this stage of the downfall.
Right.
Yeah. where they come and take 80% of the wealth from the population, probably 90%.
Right.
Yeah.
Depending on what you call wealth, most of the wealth that I value is intrinsical or is of the unseen world. So,
Yeah, well, it's all symbols. We have symbols that represent the energy that was produced from the laborers, the intellectual properties, the intellectual work, the physical work, mental work, that we put into this place, this economy, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But it's
right,
our energy. It's our energy. It's our life force. They might use a worthless piece of paper as a symbol to represent that and put you know some magic behind it to that works in their favor.
right. But it's all based in magic because the current money system that we have is based in subconscious programming of the masses to even consider that it actually has value. It's literally magic because they convinced us subconsciously that this system is even valuable or has any intrinsic value at all.
Hmm.
And that's like the biggest magic trick they've been pulling on us for years now. And the thing about it is once you understand the symbolism, once you become symbol literate, then you can actually see what's going on. Because other than that, you're just seeing what you're seeing the surface, and you're seeing what's programmed, what's
Yeah.
indoctrinated. You know what I'm saying? That's all you see. This is
Yeah.
why when we talk a lot of times we we get miscommunications because we're speaking symbolism.
Hmm.
We're speaking energy, right?
Hmm.
We're speaking understanding how the spirit flows.
Yeah. Are we speaking from a point of ego?
Well, ego is an interference to this higher spiritual awareness. It's an interference because a lot of people think they're spiritually adept and they actually just egotistical as hell. Like I was talking to a brother the other day. What I noticed about religious people is they're very insecure in their convictions to the point where they have to have everybody. They got to recruit everybody to because they're miserable in in their insecurities of their gods or whatever they believe in.
Hmm.
They have to convince everybody else that they're right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
Do
like, you so right, then be living your conviction instead of trying to convert every goddamn body. Why is that part of your doctrine of converting? It doesn't say that in there. If you notice, it doesn't say that. I mean, it says spread the word or whatever, but it doesn't say be aggressively impulsive. I mean, aggressively trying to impose. That's what both people do. Both people try to impose, and as soon
hmm
as you have any contingency to what they're saying, they
Oh,
look
it's on.
at you as the enemy now. You're the enemy now.
Yeah, it's on. It, it's on, baby. It's on and popping after that.
And the thing about it is, look at all of your gods, and you can see the level of spiritual awareness y'all on. The
Well,
God
all
of
the
the Bible, the God of the Bible was a low vibrational God.
and that was a warrior god. All those gods were warring over who gets to
Rule over
lord.
humanity.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
That's why the God of the Bible is a jealous God.
Yeah.
He's a jealous God.
Yeah.
Also, Allah ain't too far from it because it always has an excuse. Infidels, like they call them non-believers and savages in Christianity, but in
Mhm.
Islam they call them infidels.
Well, that's
You are
the
infidel, you're deserving of death.
yeah, but that's the male matriarch part of Islam. Islam it was means mother and son, but they turned it into this male patriarchic entity that pretty much don't like women. Women, you have to cover yourself up. You can't speak. You know, you don't even matter. Only thing you here for is to produce um, children for Allah to rule over.
Right. So Allah can have workers for his whatever his agenda is.
Energy,
But
energy.
really, symbolically, Allah, arm, leg, arm, head.
Hmm. Well, Al is almost like El, and La is Layla, the mother.
Right.
Hmm.
Of course, because all those gods were the gods in the ancient world were females,
Yeah,
and the
and
gods in the modern world are males.
well, the according to what the great prophet or scholar Bobby Hemmett taught was that the first god that was ever worshipped, or even that was the firstborn son from the great mother named Set.
Right. I mean, that's the difference between our culture and Western culture is because they always left out the divine feminine and divine. They left out the divine feminine and they disguised the divine feminine as the Holy Spirit. But that's the
Hmm.
difference between. We always had those complementary forces always present. And you can tell that's the difference between Egypt. All gods had a complementary goddess.
Yeah, and in the ancient mythology, all creation began with one main goddess, one main you could say primordial mother.
Right. But that doesn't mean the divine masculine wasn't present because
Mhm.
she represents all of that, and you know what I'm saying. She kind of
Yeah,
represents all of that. Because
well, the divine masculine is an invisible principle, but it,
have you ever heard of Parthenogenesis?
Parthenogenesis.
Yeah.
No, bring me up to date on that. I think I heard of that. I don't know what it stands for.
Parthenogenesis is before there were males,
Hmm.
women were having babies through Parthenogenesis, right?
Oh, from the sun or solar energy.
No. She basically has the ability to birth children and basically fertilize her own womb.
Oh,
At one point,
fertilizer.
she had the ability to fertilize her own womb.
Well, I thought that they were able to do that through solar energy from the sun because sperm is pretty much solar energy.
I mean, maybe, but I'm just going by a concept that I did some research on called Parthenogenesis, where
Okay.
women were having babies without the conception of man's sperm because they would actually fertilize their own eggs.
Mm. Man, if women figured that out, should we be in trouble?
I mean, the thing about it is, it's part of spiritual evolution for that aspect of woman to, because what happens is when she separated, they twisted it in the Bible in the Bible where
Hmm.
they said
The man came
Eve came from
from Adam's
Adam's
rib.
rib, right? That's similar to the concept of Parthenogenesis because it will be marrow from the bones that will allow her to fertilize her own eggs. It was a certain it was a certain function of her bodily function in the ancient world that allowed that to happen. So, they're telling us apart about how the first man and woman came about through parthenogenesis in that story, but they reversed it. It was supposed to be he came out of her,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they
Yeah.
reversed.
Well, that just goes to show you how um, much the people that wrote the Bible hate women and hate the feminine principle.
Right. I mean, the thing about it is they know these people are magicians. They're lowbrow magicians, but they're magicians, and the thing I noticed about the European is they will follow something to the T. Look at
They.
look at Eminem, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
people say some people say he's the GOAT or whatever. He's just technically proficient because he's able to copy our style to the T. He's able to do it to
Mm-hmm.
the T. And if you listen to his shit, really, it's really no soul in his music. He really has no soul.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to his shit. He is no soul. In opposed to a so-called black rapper, there
Mm-hmm.
are certain nuances there when you hear him. You hear certain nuances that you don't hear in Eminem music. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, it's a psychological thing with the whole them them appearing to try to act like they're on the same levels as the gods. Because this, to be honest, so-called black people are god-like beings. You know what I'm saying? We
Well, we we're what is left over from gods that ruled eons ago.
right, right.
Yeah.
And this is not fair. This is why they had to come up with the system of racism because it wouldn't be fair any other way. We are the mother and father of humanity. We created all cultures. We brought them out of the dark ages. They owe everything to us. But the thing about it is, we told them, right? People look at the prophecies and how we went into slavery and all this stuff as if it was something that just happenstance. No, we're we're magical like that. We're spiritual. We're high spiritual beings to where we can put ourselves through turmoil.
Well, and we know what we were putting ourselves through was an alchemical process.
It means, man, we put ourselves through hardship in
Hmm.
order to achieve this alchemical outcome.
Yeah, we had to go through these harsh situations to get certain things inside of us going back online because if we weren't going through those situations, we wouldn't be tapping into these certain dormant things that we have going on inside of us
Right,
that had to be reawakened in order for us to go into this golden age as the gods we were before we fell out of the last golden age and silver age.
right. We're going into a golden age.
Yeah, and in the golden age, we're gods. We we're the rulers of the planet, of the earth. Probably most of this solar system. Are we're able to communicate with all the other beings in the solar system and the entire universe because we're on a much more supreme level of consciousness than we are now.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We fail vibrationally in
Well,
order
it's
for us to go to a whole another octave of our frequency. We're going to a
mhm,
whole another octave.
yeah, and plus we're going into our spiritual summer, or our spiritual spring and spiritual summer. We're coming out of our spiritual winter.
Does it last 25,000 years or 15,000 years?
No,
25,000 years or 50,000 years?
12 to 13,000 years is our spiritual fall and our spiritual winter, and equally the same on the other side. It's like yin and yang.
Right.
But how we, like when we're in the golden age and the silver age, how we let's say if we reach a certain level at the end of the silver age, going into the bronze age and the iron age, if we're at a certain level of consciousness, if we go there with our house in order, when we come out of the iron age, we'll still be intact. Our rule will still be intact, and we'll go back into the golden age.
Right.
We won't fall. We won't fall in the iron age and the bronze age. But we had to fall in the last bronze age and going into the iron age, which we're coming out of, because that was part of the alchemical process. We had to decline to our lowest level and go through the fermentation and putrefaction process, so we can come out new wine, come out as something new.
Right. And it's crazy because I was watching an episode of what's it called? Thor's brother. I forgot his name.
Loki.
Mm-hmm. Right, and it's all about the timekeepers and stuff of that nature. Right, it's the agency that actually makes sure that the time don't branch out to other time branches and shit. Right.
Yeah, they stay in order.
Right. He wanted to stay on one branch. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about how they're that agency itself is trying to close us off from our own multi-dimensional, our multi-potential selves. Right. And that's exactly what an agency does in this vibration, in this level of our existence. Right. It's meant strictly to keep us not branching out, but not branching out to the other potentialities of self.
So who does the agency serve? Or what does the agency serve?
It serves these artificial, it's like robotic creatures that are they're basically synthetic in nature. They're not a part of the organic world. They're synthetic in nature. So
they're synthetic.
Yes, because the way that world even survive is to have humans kinetic energy or spiritual energy fuel it.
Okay, so that's another form of a demiurge.
Yes, it is the demiurge. That is exactly the demiurge. Because the demiurge is a representation of a wide view of different entities that exist amongst us, that exist.
Mm-hmm. It's not just one entity.
The thing about it is, once humanity is in awareness of what they actually are, they're going to recognize the multidimensional reality and realize the other entity. Remember what I was talking about with that movie Boogeyman, or Boogeyman, or something about the dude who Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman.
Candyman, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you watch that movie, that's an esoteric movie, because they're telling you about how the collective consciousness can manifest these creatures, these entities. And that's what we're doing. but we're manifesting it for them. This is why they constantly on rituals through social engineering. All their social engineering is like ritual. They're playing on our subconscious mind.
Yeah, so what they're using us subconsciously to manifest the army and forces that they need.
Right.
I get that, which is why we're supposed to be doing the rituals, tapping into the 72, like what they, the 72 conspirators of Set are the 72 chakras in the first eye that have access to uh, an army of
Legions.
and legions. And this all represents functions inside of us. Not talking about something outside. It's talking about the shit, turning shit on inside of us, which creates in the quantum world our army, our
Right.
force
Right.
that counters their shit. And
Right. Because what it is whatever their forces is manifesting from us too.
yeah, it's
So
manifest.
all we have to do is center ourselves, center
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. I'm talking about to the point where we are the central control system of all of these quantum realities, that potentialities. We're the
Mm-hmm.
control system. They
Where's,
using it. They using it,
yep.
right? So we
Mm-hmm.
got to use our own control system. The
Mm-hmm.
pineal glands, the black dot is basically where you can actually go from any part of the vibrational reality that we exist in. You can go to any part of it right there because it's
Central
all
front.
vibration. It's all vibratory in nature,
Mm-hmm.
right? We put the emphasis on it when we embody it. And when we embody it and the spirit becomes, we walking in that spirit, and it's very, very deep. Once you, this awareness is what you need to become. This
Yeah,
awareness.
well, that's why I like learning the tree of life, because that's the anatomy of God. And each tree is a whole nother dimension, a whole nother universe. And until you get to the highest crowns. And so once you, and all of this is within us and without us, outside of us too. So actually, we're the central point of all dimensions. We're the central point of all beginnings and all endings.
Right. But Brother Panic was talking about how the priesthood, they are aware of how this symbolism, how all of these different, all of these different ideas of higher creatures like the gods. These are nothing more than subconscious, um, subconscious ideas and that we build in that
Yep.
world, that we
Yep.
build in that world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like
Mm-hmm.
when you see how in the Marvel universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of these different characters in the Marvel universe, if you look at it, they represent certain powers that we already have.
Mm-hmm.
They all represent certain powers within us already.
Each one of them is a certain chakra. That's
Right.
inside. We have hundreds and hundreds. A lot of people don't believe in chakras.
But
God bless them.
it ain't that's the thing. That's the part of the awareness thing that I was talking about. Because once you get to this level, you understand belief is a superpower. It
Yeah.
ain't nothing that you use as an insecure thing as a human.
Mm-mm.
It's not, oh, I'm a believe because I don't know for sure. I'm uncertain, so I'm gonna just believe. It's a mechanism because you don't got a clue. You're not aware.
See, we're talking about belief, using belief when you already understand the seven principles of.
Right, right,
Okay. And
right,
the first principle, that the all is mind, is mental. Okay, it's the universe is mental. It's not physical. Okay, by understanding that, and then your belief is based in that formula, in that principle.
Right.
The mind make that belief real,
Right.
but you're doing it on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're
Right.
not doing it out of worship or trying to get someone to make
Fear.
yourself worthy to some
Fear.
god.
Most people are doing it out of fear.
Yeah, out of fear, and that's food. That's for like, but Brother Panic used to call that filet mignon for the demiurge in the
Right.
archive.
Because at the end of the day, like we said, we're having a vibe. People say we're humans having a spiritual experience, right?
Experience. We're
No,
a
what it
spiritual.
is
Yeah.
we're we're vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
We're vibrations. We're energies of all of these different generated. They've been generated over eons. That's, oh my God, this shit is deep. How this energy, this spirit, is not even of this dimension. It's not even here nor there.
Yeah.
It's not even here. It's omnipresent.
Uh-huh.
And that's the energy that fuels this whole reality.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it dark matter, you can call it dark energy, whatever you want to call it.
You know
Ether,
it.
the ethers.
Yeah. It
This
don't
is
matter.
the substanceless substance that
Mm-hmm.
this Western world, it baffles their mind and they can't explain it. This is how, look, this is crazy because there's been an all-out attack, and it's so easy to solve this shit, right? It's been an all-out attack on our culture, and people trying to discredit us for, like, right now. There's people out there saying hip hop didn't start with so-called black people, or jazz is not a so-called black culture, right?
What's not a black culture?
Jazz is not so-called black culture. This is a debate going on the
That.
internet right now. Like,
Uh-huh.
people have a sense of entitlement with us that's freaky. Like, what the fuck? Because, like, imagine, okay, just imagine we start saying moringa, you know, dancing. That we started that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just imagine we start just, which really, when you get it down, if it wasn't started by us, it was inspired by us.
Yeah. Well, let's say we start doing that on a mental level.
And start reclaiming all of the symbols that we developed in the astral realm.
Yeah. And beyond. And developing and start developing the next ones, the new ones.
That right there is what you. That's what, because really, let's be honest. Us even going back and forth with them over that will be beneath us,
Yep. We should just
because
supposed to be doing the work.
we supposed to be create that. Just what's that saying is, create something else now
Mm-hmm.
that was
Yeah.
never done. Because look, hip hop, jazz, all these forms of culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
The world is in a phenomenon of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just because the Moors were jacking their ships that they were paying us tribute. It was because we brung culture, we brung the light to the whole world. So
We,
the whole world owes us tribute based on that.
yeah, we turned barbarians into civic creatures of civics.
Right. I mean, it's a phenomenon what we achieved, even though it wasn't much, because that imperfection in them is so deep that they're meant to self-destruct, period. And that's in their genetics. It's in their genetics to self-destruct. They don't
And
really
at the
think about the European while their birth numbers is going down. right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Mm-hmm.
even know that they were literally created to fulfill a certain spiritual prophecy. That's
They
it.
can only they can only exist in the Iron Age. They can't go into the Golden
This
Age.
is what I'm trying to say. You were only created for to fulfill a prophecy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
And then
That's the reason you was created.
yeah, in order for any of them to go into the Golden Age, they have to do the great works of
Well,
Alchemy.
they figured it out. They know that uh, interracial, how they can proceed into the next, right, through their, because when once because they're already somewhat like that.
Mhm.
We've already are the genetic mothers and fathers of humanity.
Okay, well, once they intertwine with us, eventually that guarantees their end because they're gonna become 100% black at some point, and all
I
their white
think
genes gonna be
that
gone.
right there is like going to be some a spiritual evolution that's going to take a long period of time, and they're going to have to come back and do this shit again. Come back. I'm talking about
Yeah,
those divine sparks that's going through that experience at the moment. They're going to
yeah,
have to come back and do it again a gang of times,
yeah. They are.
man. Period.
Yeah, yeah. Because white people fuck some black people, and black people fuck some white people, and and brought some divine sparks down here in that situation.
Yeah, yeah.
That's yeah.
But I mean, they have a more advantageous experience than their predecessors because at the end of the day, they got melanin now,
Yep.
right?
They got
You
yeah.
got you got the thing that makes our reality multi-potential in nature.
Mhm.
It can go any way we want it to go if we focus and get our mind right and get our spirit
Yeah.
right and get alignments. It can go any way we want it to go.
We can
Mind you, I
work.
said we because
Yeah.
it's a collective thing. Whatever we say goes. Period.
Yeah. We
We
run the
gotta
show.
recognize that.
Subconsciously,
That's a
we run
power
the
we need
show.
to recognize.
I know. The more of us recognize that, that's going to be a day of reckoning, because then we can become a centralized power force.
Oh, that's what
Just
they were doing in Kemet. That's what they were doing in Kemet, right?
yeah.
They were literally they literally created a high vibrational society that everyone there were people who were um what you call neophytes. There were
Hmm.
neophytes,
Yeah.
but
Always going to be
whole
fight.
culture encouraged people to become um, erudite.
What's that?
Erudite is an adept, someone who's
Oh,
adept.
a nap pad. Yeah, you have. Well, you go. From what I heard, at the age of 8, you go to college until you graduate at 48 or 49, 48. You go to college for 40 years. You go to university for 40 years. You learn everything. But when you graduate, you can just go into society and be you have all the liberal arts, you have a complete well-rounded education, or you
That's
can go on.
Moorish. That's not Western. That's not Western. That's Moorish. What you just said.
Mhm. Yeah, and then from there you can go into the mystery schools and become an adapt priest or priestess.
Right.
Hmm. But
What's so
in
crazy
general,
about this? Some are literally born to be automatons.
well, we someone created a society where it made it possible for that to be.
Well, I think it's a divine purpose behind there being automatons because
In this stage of the game, maybe. and coming out of the Iron Age, going into the Golden Age, maybe. But once we get into the Golden
All the
Age,
automatons are entities, are divine sparks that
mm-hmm,
have probably certain corruptions. And when I say corruptions, that they're holding other spirits within their divine essence. There's other
all right,
spirits there. There are other essence. There are other beings there. See, you would have to you those divine sparks would have to, like I said, centralize themselves and become the control system of all of these different potentialities of your reality, all these different energies that you will.
yeah,
You have to be in control of it. I know it's
you're not,
overwhelming in your human thinking. Your human thinking is like, it's so overwhelming, I can't handle it. That's why you
yeah,
have to evolve in your thinking to recognizing yourself as a beyond God. You're beyond God.
mm-hmm,
Why am I saying beyond God? Because God has already been socialized, right? Look, let me explain this, brother, because the collective consciousness play a big part in this, right?
mm-hmm,
The concept of God has already been socialized in the collective consciousness, right? That could
mm-hmm,
in the astral realm can be a deterrent to you recognizing yourself beyond that mundane human way of looking at it, right? That would be a
mm-hmm.
deterrent because we can be creatures of the collective consciousness where we get caught up in, and on a physical level that will be like the social dynamics of a society where we're peer pressured into going a certain way,
Yep,
right?
mm-hmm,
The collective
yeah,
consciousness operates on the psychic realm. On the psychic realm, the collective consciousness somewhat acts that based on your spiritual awareness. If you're not spiritual aware, you're going to fall into a automaton state.
yeah, you are, and
Right?
yeah, your ass,
So
you're
now,
not gonna.
go ahead.
You, you're now you're a manifesting. You're not the manifestor. You're
Yes,
just
thank you.
manifesting.
Yes, yes, yes. You're not writing your destiny. You're just somebody's character in their destiny.
You're not the programmer. You're the program.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And some programs can and write the programs within the program.
Right,
That's what we're doing.
right, right, right. For real, because we're the programmer to an extent, because we're
We're
actually the
yeah. We're the
essence. We're actually the essence of why a programmer can exist.
there was a saying you remember where, oh my God, where you have the infinite, the unknowable, the known, the knower, the knower, that which is
Uh,
known, and shit, I forgot how it go, but they're all
that,
one.
was
The
that was that
knower.
on was that on a movie or something?
No, that was from that
Because I
was
heard
from
of, I remember I was looking at some type of adventure movie that was saying something of that nature. Like,
the knower and that which is known. They're both the same.
okay, what you mean by that though?
The knower and that which is known. I it's the way it's the way it's said. It makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying it right because I'm trying to remember something that's really really deep in my data banks.
Right, right, right. I mean, that's spiritual in itself because the spirit is not logical. So
No.
you have to compensate. That's what we we're talking about in another conversation, where the compensation of these two realities within your essence, that's an alchemic process.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you can compensate and not look at it as conflicted upon each other, because it's conflicted within your, you got to be able to get rid of all the conflicts within yourself
Mm-hmm.
and marry them, right?
That's called yin and yang.
Right.
It's called yin. That's yin and yang.
The first look, this is crazy because when I look at my whole journey, I'm looking at
Yeah.
it as it was meant for me to come to these conclusions in my spiritual awareness and my understanding, my what I know. It was all this stuff was meant to happen from a previous a previous arrangement.
In this lifetime or in prior lifetimes.
I just know that this is prophetic and it's meant to happen. It was meant to
Yeah.
happen,
I think
right?
we all have that feeling. We a lot of us have that same feeling.
This
And
stuff was
and
meant to happen like this, right?
and because of that, and we're in tune with that, reality is shaping itself in for us in that direction.
Right. Because now we know that what we're calling reality is something that fluctuates. It's something that fluctuates based on your energy and how you cultivate it. Remember, I talked about the concept of cultivating your energy. This is the reason why you cultivate the energy. Is because
Mm-hmm.
now, if you, the best way I describe it is when you're playing NBA Live. I can explain this to the millenniums because they know about NBA Live.
Yeah,
When
they
you're
know
making
about
that
that.
shot, right, you got to get it right. You got to push the button right when you see it go to the middle,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the ball is going like this. You got to push it exactly simultaneously when it gets to that middle point. That's
But
exactly what I'm talking about by cultivating the energy, right?
yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
what we just talked about on how we reconciling these seemingly concepts or vibrations or polarities that may be at odds with each other, but they're
Mm-hmm.
we have to reconcile that in our heads and say and show in our and grow in our development in our awareness and realize that they're not in conflict. God,
It's called
God
unity.
and devil. Listen, this is what I mean. God and the devil are not in conflict with each other.
It's a unity. It's like we said, it's polarity, it's yin and yang. It's two aspects of the same thing, two poles of the same.
If you are caught in, listen, if you are caught in, I'm on God's side, I'm on God's side,
That's called
or
duality.
if you are caught on, oh, I'm not going to follow God, I'm going to be rebellious to God and everything, right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't recognize or have spiritual awareness of your development stages that you're going through. You're going through a development stage from a child, from when you
Yeah.
was a so-called child. That whole
Mm-hmm.
psychological and spiritual reconciliation. That whole I'm a physical being having a human experience, but I'm spiritual. You go to the religious church and then they throw you right off your path. Soon as you go to
Yep.
their church,
Mm-hmm.
because what they do, they start colluding the actual symbol and stop correlating it to something going on within you and start correlating to something going outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So this development is key. Your own development is key. Self-development,
Mm-hmm.
self-knowledge. knowledge of self is
And
key.
what and also that saying we're the microcosm of the macrocosm.
Right.
I mean, that is so powerful.
Are
That
we
means
right? Go ahead. Go ahead.
what's
Go ahead. Go ahead.
happening, what we're doing, cultivating inside of us, within us, is now being reflected outside of us
Yes.
in macrocosm.
Right. Now that more and more people are coming spiritually aware and more spiritually aware, they're going to totally change the density of reality and make it more fluctuant. And in a sense of, it's like a way to recreate it. In a sense, like we can create it and recreate it. We're the creators. So when you're talking about the creator in the Bible, they're talking
Mm-hmm.
about us collectively and what vibrational state we was in at the point at that time and point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about collectively the creator, what we call the creator is what vibrational state were we in? I'm talking about because consciousness, right,
Mm-hmm.
is the result of unconsciousness, and it's the result of subconscious, and it's the result of superconscious, and it's the result of all those simultaneously are activated when you are in consciousness.
Well, consciousness began once we came from out of the 0 point. Um, what they call it, unconscious unity. When we came out, when the soul came out of that 0 point, that's when consciousness began. Because we existed in unconscious unity, but we're going back to that 0 point in conscious unity.
What I'm You just said the same thing I just said,
Mm-hmm.
because all I'm saying is all of those states exist simultaneously as synchronicity. But
Mm-hmm.
we in a state where we divided it. We divided it. We've broken it up. We cut it up into 12 pieces,
Hmm.
right? And
And
fragmented it.
you mean like the 12 zodiacs?
Yes,
Mm.
that can be a symbolism of it too, because like I said, everything is triple, quadruple entendres, man, and so on and so forth.
Well, the 12 zodiacs will represent the entire, well, it represents the solar system, the sun relative to the entire solar system, and then the central sun relative to the entire galaxy, which is the inner, the solar system is an outer represent, the solar system and the galaxy is an outer representation of the mind within.
Right, you're right, and you can if you extrapolate it, right, if you look at it and extrapolate it, because they got pictures of it now where they can actually have a picture of the whole of our whole galaxy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They extrapolate it and you look at it and you be like, damn, this is a system, and it's a clock. It's like a clock system too, like a so-called cycle system where you can literally see like an actual clock system,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the clock is based off of that. It's
Right.
just
So
the clock is just a micro version of a greater clock called the
yes,
galaxy. Well,
I mean, we saying the
solar
same thing,
system and the galaxy. Yeah.
right? We saying the same thing. So
Yeah.
the when we look, and this is the cool thing about it, is when you get consciously aware of the spiritual awareness and all that stuff, you recognize that
Mm-hmm.
we're not looking that picture. more likely it's some generated shit that they trying to do
Yeah.
another program and they trying to do another ritual, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like I just said, whatever the collective subconscious is programmed with is going to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
So if you now, this is what I'm trying to get y'all to now look at reality like that now, not as
Yeah.
an individual and you affect your reality from your no. You got to look at it from the collective. You got to be able to see it from the collective the selective subconsciousness, and how
Mm-hmm.
they got a concept of this shit where they talked about this what's that shit called, where it peaks anytime something happens in humanity, and they can actually read this energetic pulse that
The
it
Sherman
goes,
residency.
uh,
And the Schumann
yeah,
residence.
human
Yeah.
residency, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
that is the collective consciousness that they're reading,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
They're reading the collective consciousness. So
Mm.
look at us as that now, as
Yeah.
opposed, because
Just
when you look
and
at
it,
us as that, you looking at it's crazy how you have to immediately I have to suppress my ego
mm-hmm.
to even compensate it. It's what I keep telling people is it's about where your heart is. That's what's gonna where your heart is actually where the vibrational state you're in is actually dictated with the heart, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
why when you
Mm-hmm.
vibrate above the heart chakra, you will understand what I'm saying. And you can't understand what I'm saying unless you vibrating above the heart chakra.
Yeah.
If you vibrate anything below the heart chakra, you're gonna tune out of what I'm saying and go right back to low vibrational root chakra behavior.
Sports, rap, music. You're gonna be into the regular shit.
Right. So you
Yeah,
have to
that's
vibrate above the heart chakra to even to even get to the point where you understand, because when you vibrate above the heart chakra, it's like weighing your heart on the with the feather, right? Your
mm-hmm.
heart is not heavy with this so-called bullshit reality, and you have this emotional attachment to it, and it weighs you down to depth, to in depth.
It's called
Depth
matter. It's not
matter,
stuck in matter.
right? Depth is depth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is the basis of the science behind what they refer to as matter, the depth, right? The density. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
depth, the
Yeah.
density, depth, density is same, but the density. What if I can give you a concept called density shifting, right?
Yeah.
Where
Mm-hmm.
density of what we're referring to as reality based on sensory perception. Mind you, everything that we're experiencing that we're referring to as reality is actually just a sensory perception experience.
And it can shift.
It shifts. Thank you.
Yeah. We can go from a solid state to a more like crystalline state
They've already
or
proven this, brother.
etheric state,
Right.
etheric crystalline state.
But
Because we
it has
fell from those stages. We were
look,
there before we fell from there.
yes.
And now we rising, going back into that. And
Because
so we supposed to have the mind.
that spiritual awareness is innate. It's like inevitable. It's
Yeah.
inevitable. You can't stop it. It's inevitable.
No, you getting away, you're just gonna get abused.
It's like running from yourself.
Yeah. But the ones who get in our way trying to stop it and retard it, they're gonna get abused
I mean, I
because
was talking to
we've
a brother the
already
other day, and
created.
I was like, don't look at fuck what humanity going through. Look at what's going on the divine level now.
what humanity is getting ready is going to be going through, it was created from the divine level, because we reached a level to where we taking over, and we're creating our quantum army to do
No,
battle against.
no, you're right. You're right. What's happening with humanity is divine in itself, but
Mm-hmm.
we have to realize that that divinity that's happening with humanity came from
Mm-hmm.
another divinity, and it comes from a whole nother divinity that's not even of this world. It's what y'all
Right.
referring to as heaven, is what y'all referring to as the God state. Y'all don't even. This is what I keep telling people. People trying to give me their lost version of the Jesus concept, right? Oh, it's Jesus as your Lord. Say, do you recognize I am Jesus? I'm talking about based on the energetic,
the
spiritual
mythology,
awareness, alchemic process of what you're supposed to take from the story of Jesus.
the mythology.
Right. You're supposed
Yes.
to take the symbolism. If you're symbol illiterate, you're not even going to get to Jesus' story. You're not going to
No,
get
but if you're literal, I mean, if you take everything literally,
right, right,
then you're gonna become retarded,
right.
spiritually retarded.
You're spiritually dull. You're dim. Your light is out.
Yeah.
At the
So
same
you
time, you looking at it as spiritual development. No, you're dimming your light more and more.
yeah. And then when anything spiritual comes around you or is brought up, you resist it. You fight it.
Look, they literally say it in their doctrine is they shun knowledge. They
Yeah.
shun knowledge. They shun, and that means spiritual awareness too. What I keep telling Christians is that the principles that are in the principles that are in the Bible, that are basically high spiritual principles that we can use and utilize. That shit didn't start off with y'all. That didn't start off with no Bible.
No,
All
that's
y'all
some
did
occult
was hijack
shit.
that concepts. Y'all took it and put the Bible together. Stop it.
The fact that you can go into any bookstore and buy a Bible, I mean, it's information that's plentiful everywhere.
What I tell people is people in their religion in their God is political in nature. Look at it. What they're doing is they're using divine authority, ecclesiastical, governmental principles
Hmm.
to will will their agenda in the cardinal world. The Jews
Using
the Jews are
use
doing it right now. This is why they're bombing Palestine, violating crimes against humanity, and they're continuing to do it because they're doing it using divinity, ecclesiastical governmental principles.
and now they got the US on board 100%.
Because they're in alignments with it. Because what happens is they're all under the Pope.
Yeah.
Y'all got to go read the Treaty of Verona. They all because the Pope is the Western world's seer. Okay, the Pope
Hmm.
is the Western world's seer. So he is the one who's supposed to be advising the Western world of the unseen world,
Hmm.
or what's happening in the unseen world. So that's exactly the central power structure out of the Vatican that's deterred in our awareness of it because they don't want us to lead to that. It's, what I'm saying is the divinity, divine. People are literally governing what's happening from the divinity standpoint using ecclesiastic government, which is something we were using in the ancient world. They got it from us.
Yeah.
That's
So
why
the Pope,
the body politics I'm developing is going to be an ecclesiastic government.
Mhm.
right? Because they're the ecclesiastic is way more powerful than a social trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the sense of now you can the community who are part of the congregation
Mm-hmm.
are the ones who are the not only the constituents but the beneficiaries, and they literally have a stake in where the society goes, right? Based on
Mm-hmm.
our awareness, because it's going to be based on spiritual awareness,
And
right?
so we'll be setting the trend in the direction of where consciousness is supposed to be moving towards based on the cycles that we're in on a cosmic level
Right,
and global.
and not only on a cosmic level or on a spiritual inner jihad recognition level, like the energy high going on is a reflection of what's going on in the macro, right? The
Mm-hmm.
micro, it's a reflection. So if we are more, this is the basis of the doctrine of the ecclesiastic government, is everything is an outward experience of what's going on with us energetically, spiritually.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to put everything in the hands of those who are part of. It's like that's the point. Your whole existence is in your hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what the covenant. This is also how everyone is born in sin under that covenant of a God.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's a
Yeah,
contract,
yeah,
right?
that's the contract.
And
Yeah.
the only way you can break the contract is become governing over your own spiritual affairs.
Oh shit.
So now I don't need to be obligated to that original. Like it's like right now, the way that you do it in this system, where you can rescind your birth certificate, you rescind you rescind your birth certificate, social security card, you give it back to them, and then say I'm operating on this level now.
Mm-hmm.
But get your last words in. We got to go.
Well, last words in. It's here. It's official, baby. Recession time. And what happened in '07, '08, '09 ain't gonna be shit compared to what's gonna happen now. So this is gonna, and Pluto is in Aquarius. And like I said, last time that happened, America was born. This time, what the de facto corporation time is over, and a new government is coming. A new government is coming. A
Pretty
new
much.
America. A new America is going to be reborn. A new a restoration of something old coming back as something new
Wow.
is happening this time. This time is different. Well, it's the same old, same energy. It's just going to be. It's just our time now.
It's the same spirit.
The same spirit. See, when the last time when Pluto was in Aquarius, that was the downfall of the Moors. Okay, this time is going to be the restoration of
And
the Moorish Empire.
let me add on to what you're saying before you get. Listen, man. People are going to get caught up in their misconceptions of the Moors. Oh, the Moors did this. The Moors did that. Moors did this. The Moors did that. That's not the point. Because if you want to go there, we can go there with every motherfucking humanity group on this social group, ethnicity, and nationality. We can do all that all day. That's not the point. The
That'd be
point
way too
is,
dark.
the point is, our ancestors were on higher vibrations, and they operated on higher vibrations. So, in order to recognize your inheritance, you got to vibrate on a higher level now,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where your ancestors left your inheritance, on a higher vibration.
And it's not going to be hard because they were on the decline and they did that. Okay, we're on the incline, and we're reasserting ourselves back into what was already established on the decline, and we're doing it on the incline.
But
So,
let's just be real about what our ancestors actually did. What they did was they made sure the transference of that inheritance was successful. That's the only thing they did. They transferred the inheritance over successfully. Now we
okay.
can actually, as the beneficiaries, take advantage of that inheritance. They left it for us. They gave it to they left the inheritance. See, that would be a failure on their part if they wasn't able to transfer it over to a generation that wasn't even conceived at the time.
Yeah. Well, damn. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you.
Because
And
they left
I
our
promise.
inheritance. They left our inheritance, brother. They
And
left
all
it.
we got to do is just get the education and become aware and do what we're supposed to do and reclaim it.
All we got to do is play our part in the affairs of men, right? We got to go back
Mm-hmm.
to the family of nations and let them know who y'all already know. Now we ain't gotta let them know nothing. Y'all already know who we are. We gotta posture ourselves and operate in that sense, in that state. Because nationality is the state of belonging to a nation. Listen to what I said. The definition of nationality is the state of belonging to a nation.
Belonging. Okay.
The state of mind,
State of mind.
state of belonging to
Then
a
we
nation.
belong to a nation, an empire.
Right.
An empire.
That's the see that's the next level of it. That's the see we talking about just national centralized government that's able to branch out to become these homogenous. I mean, uh, uh, um, hegemonies. Right.
Mm-hmm.
They become these
Mm-hmm.
hegemonies based on compensatory powers that this was based on how China is doing today, how America is trying to be imperialist and China is trying to be imperialist.
Yeah. And they're doing it on our juice.
Right. We already have the ultimate empire that all of them looked at us for the light in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Science, technology, engineering, all that originated in our societies.
But
Art,
damn, somebody hated us.
the seven liberal arts,
Mm-hmm.
it
Yep, the
originated
several.
with our society.
Yeah, you learned that in Egypt in the 40 years of schooling in the university for 40 years after the age of 8, from 8 to 48.
Right. And mind you, this is not an ego trip because it's beneath us to even argue with y'all. That's why I said about the hip hop. That's beneath us. We gave it to us, to our children. We know y'all are our genetic children, and we gave y'all all of this. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no need for claiming that's a Western world, that's a Western state of mind. Who's going to claim
Okay.
the intellectual property of it? I mean, y'all deal with all that bullshit, that low vibrational shit. We moving on. We create something else. Have that. Y'all can, if y'all want to say y'all created hip hop, which everybody knows different, go ahead, have that shit.
Oh, yeah, you can have it. We're on something else different while y'all be playing with that old shit.
Right.
We'll be creating
Because
some new shit.
once we create something else, now y'all gonna be looking. Cause watch, bro. This is what I'm predicting, man. Once we evolve, because this shit is growing. This whole consciousness of post millennium, uh, 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 restoration of Moorish sovereignty, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
restoration of Moorish government. Oh my God!
Mm-hmm.
You understand how powerful this stuff is, brother?
Man,
This
there's
stuff is powerful.
It's the reason for me to wake up in the morning. It's the
Because
reason.
we turning the tables on the whole inferior mindset that we had at first, right?
Yeah.
Where we're talking
Yes.
about, we're gonna try to assert our rights in their jurisdiction. That's inferior. That's inferior law. That's inferior.
But
Go
to
ahead
some
and go
people,
ahead, keep on doing that though. But that's inferior. We talking about superior law, right? We talking about
yeah,
we talking about diplomatic relationships with other nations.
yeah,
We talking about sovereign authorities,
mm,
centralized governments,
some high
post
shit.
millennium. These words that is not in the lexicon right now, bro. They not talking about this stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
And if they start talking about it, they gotta give Shem Malachi Bey, Abdullah
Mm-hmm.
Bey, because ain't
Mm-hmm.
nobody was saying none of this stuff before they was saying it. I don't want to hear it.
No.
I don't want to
Yeah.
hear it. We are on the ground floors of something phenomenon, bro. Well, I gotta go though.
Okay, man. It was great. Thank you.
Peace.
Well, peace.
Chaos.
Okay.
Chaos. Peace.
Chaos. Chaos to peace. Peace to chaos, and
Right.
vice versa. All right. Good night, America.